I'm Josh with Frontline Freedom. It's my buddy Dave. So have we told him our backstory yet?
Not 100%. You did a video which you all watched. We had 14,500 views within about a week. So thank you for the support and all of the shares. We just wanted to kind of talk about what Frontline Freedom is for the future, how to get involved, how to come on trips, and what to expect when you are selected to come out on one of our trips with us.
Yeah.
So by the end of this year, we're going to have our schedule set up for next year. And on our website, you can go in, there'll be a drop-down box that'll just basically say, here's the date, here's when we depart. You can apply for that. Ignore my phone going off in the background. That will happen again, I assure you. We're not pros. It's our first time. But when you go online, you can select the date that you want. That way you can maybe lock in a vacation window, whatever it is for your agency. That way you know you'll be available. About a week out, we'll invite you down for a orientation. And this is kind of where it gets into the important stuff. At your orientation, we're going to cover where we're going for one, and for two, the things that you will need. But the big thing that we're going to ask of you when you come down for orientation is that you bring either a significant other, so your spouse, or someone that's important to you that maybe knows your story, or that you feel comfortable in knowing any of the struggles that you might be going through.
So yeah, the reason that's important, guys, and this was Dave's idea. I'm just kind of the knuckle dragger that, hey, I was going through some issues, so I just had to walk off the pain, I guess, for lack of better terms. So Dave had a really good idea. We got to talking about this last night with how important our loved ones, our family, or our friend, whoever it is, whoever that person is that we lean on when, we're open about identifying our struggles, having them in the picture. And again, I got to give all the credit to him. And, he was asking me with like some of my experiences, and there's a lot of areas where with my story or my family, like I made a lot of mistakes. And we're hoping that through maybe our experiences, we can make maybe your transition or your healing process better, not only for you, but the people that we do this for anyway.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, is how important family is to that. And I appreciate you giving me credit, but actually it was his idea. He just doesn't realize it. On one of the trips we were on, which we're going to have to show them a clip of that.
Yeah.
But one of the first trips we went on, we kind of started talking about, who was at home to help us out. And, he talked about, his wife being instrumental to kind of being a focus to get back to where that is. And I think sometimes, and in hearing other people's stories, and, if you've shared with me, thank you, because you're part of this as well, whether you realize it or not. Every person we talk to, we take a nugget and move forward with it, and how can we do better for other people. But one of the things we noticed is that in talking with other people and then talking to their significant others, a lot of significant others feel like they've lost their person. And what we want to do is bring them in the loop so that they understand that your spouse still loves you. They may be going through something right now that either they're not comfortable with feeling or sharing, but they're still there. But at least we want to be able to give some tools and just knowledge to share with everybody of why family is so important and what's going on between the two of you as far as the mental health aspect goes.
Yeah. And with that, during the orientation, like there'd be kind of two separate orientations going on simultaneously. One for your significant other, and then the other one for the people that are going out in the woods with us. And we're going to talk to, your significant others or your best friend, whoever it may be for you, very frank from maybe some of the experiences, not only that we've had ourselves, but some people that we've talked to that's, where we've been fortunate enough that they've opened up to us that, and I can use my case as an example. And I can say, hey, I thought it was me protecting my family. I'm going to be honest with you. Hindsight being what it was, that's a crutch. It was just easier not to talk about it. If I was to be completely honest. So, but in doing that, I kind of isolated my family, like that they could see a change in me and they didn't understand. And I wasn't willing to share for, multitude of reasons. And what happens, it can potentially drive a wedge between you and the most important person in your life. So we're trying to give everybody that's in your life and you as much as possible to start the healing process is the bottom line. Because if you're healthy, they're healthy, work is better, life is better, and there's just a higher quality of life.
So to shift gears a little bit out of that, the other side of that orientation is going to be for our attendees, those that will be actually going out into the woods with us, spending a night or two out in the backcountry. And one of the most common questions we get is, A, how much is this going to cost me? And B, where do I buy all the stuff that I need? So what we kind of want to do is shore up a little bit of that prior to your orientation. So we have backpacks, we have water, we have cooking, we have utensils, we have sleeping bags, we have tents. So everyone that comes they're not going to be sharing a tent with somebody, because I know not everyone's comfortable with doing that. And quite honestly, when it says 2-person tent on the outside, it really means one.
Just so everybody
really
knows,
comfortable.
he tried getting me in a tent because it was 13 degrees.
That was 13 degrees.
Crutch.
I told him he could snuggle. He said no. It was weird. We all had a good time, though.
It was a good trip.
He froze outside in a lean-to, and I was nice and cozy in an actual tent.
We'll show you that video at some point.
It'll come up. So you don't need to worry about the big purchase items. What you will have to worry about, and this is important, is the right clothes, that right size, right brand. And I tell people this every time that they get into outdoor adventures or hiking or whatever the case may be. Don't go cheap on your shoes. Shoes are going to make or break you. You can always add layers to clothes. And we do recommend getting, sweat wicking materials. And if you go to like REI or any kind of reputable outfitter, they'll tell you the same thing, where base layers of sweat wicking and lots of lighter layers to make your outfit complete. Because what will happen is you'll get hot, you'll start stripping layers down, and you don't want to just have one or two. You want to have as many as you can so you can really regulate your temperature. With that gear that you need, like I said, don't cheap out on your shoes. I love wearing Solomon. That's the same boots I've had for 3 years, and they're still, I actually fell in a river about a week ago hiking, and they are still waterproof after 3 years, which is actually kind of surprising. So a lot of times that Gore-Tex will start breaking down, but very good brand stuff.
I have the same make model, if you will, that I bought in would have been November of 2015, and actually the trip to Vermont that we've been posting pictures of, those were the boots that I wore. So, and I've had them, like I said, 5 years now. So, and they're still good to go.
Yeah. It's really important stuff. And then the other thing that you'll need when you do come out is food. And the reason that we don't supply food is actually, it's kind of twofold. One, we want to be able to have money to buy other gear, because gear does start breaking down over time. So to be able to repurchase things when they rip, tear, whatever. And then the other part of that is everyone's got a unique dietary restriction, and it's a lot easier for us to say, bring the food that works for you. And what we'll do at that orientation is kind of give you some ideas of stuff that we do. Like I personally love taking just plain fajitas with that pre-made goober peanut butter and jelly stuff like a 5-year-old, and I slap it on there, and that's my breakfast. And then like Kodiak cake oatmeal, I eat that stuff constantly. It's great. And I know you've got
usually too. For me, just for simplicity, I've kind of found what works for me to give me my energy levels and everything that I need. And usually in the morning, I have a cup of coffee with 2 packets of oatmeal. Gets me right where I need to be. I'll have some snacks throughout the day. I love candy corn mixed with peanuts.
You're like the only person on earth that likes candy corn.
I love that stuff.
Wow,
actually, the dudes that went to Vermont, they dig it now too.
They like candy corn. Well, I guess if you're hungry in the woods, I mean, starve or eat candy corn. I guess I'm going to starve. I don't know.
Then for lunch, I usually do, because the tuna packets are very simple. For me, I'll do 2. I don't like tuna, but I'll usually do like the barbecue or the ranch or something along those lines. And then for dinner, I'll usually do like one of the dehydrated meals from REI, like Backpacker's Pantry. It works for me. Yeah. I like those. I just tried a new one. I wish I could remember the name. I'll put it out there, but it was very, very good. It was, I can't remember the name of it, but I
had that at fettuccine Alfredo, because it's really hard to screw that up even when you freeze dry it.
Chili mac.
Yeah, chili mac. That's a good one too. Just stuff to help keep you warm, especially after a long day of hiking, because you're going to burn a ton of calories while we're out there. And then depending on what trip we go, you'll see on the application, once we get that up online for the specific trips, we'll try to have some mileage on there and kind of rate them as far as this is a harder hike or this is an easier one. Some of the places we go to, like Lake Vesuvius, which is actually here in Ohio at Wayne National Forest, that's relatively flat as far as backpacking go. I think the elevation change is maybe 300 feet total. Okay. So it's not bad. So if you're a little bit apprehensive about whether or not you can hang, that'd be a perfect hike. But some of the other ones we go to, they're tough. You go to Grayson Highlands and it feels like just straight up for the entire time.
Totally beautiful.
Yes.
But you're going to earn the beauty.
Yeah. Your body will let you know that you did something incredible when you're done.
But with that, listen, guys, don't be afraid to apply. I promise you, irregardless of what physically you're capable of, what mentally you're capable of, we will both break our backs to tailor the trip just to help you. We both mean that. I mean, it's the Vermont trip had some really, really good dudes. And we literally averaged 5 miles a day. We take an hour and a half lunch, and hung out at camp. And it was more just about that. So please, we just want to, the ultimate goal is just to help people, give you guys another resource. That's it.
Yep. Getting people out in the woods, letting nature do its thing. And I think the final thing that we wanted to touch on before we wrap up this kind of first inaugural video is, I've been asked a lot of questions of, are we going to be forced to talk about things in the woods? Yeah. And I can definitively tell you this. If you feel comfortable telling us your story, if you want to share, by all means. But no one is going to poke you. No one's going to prod you. We're not going to. That's not our job. Our job is to get you out into the woods. There's a lot of relaxation that occurs just by being in nature, and research supports that time and time again, which is why there's some laws up in Congress right now about they're really geared towards veterans, but adding adventure therapy and kind of this outdoor recreation as part of official treatment options through the VA. So a lot of research backs that up, and we're not going to force you to talk, but by all means, if you feel like opening up, we're here and can kind of help you through if you're at a sticking point for your personal journey.
And on that note, guys, and I can speak to this from my own experiences, if you are struggling, I know depending on your career, you may be very, cautious or apprehensive about being open because you don't want to have to do what's called a fit for duty process or whatever it is. What we can tell you, okay, when you apply, I don't even see it. It goes to a medical professional, and then they tell us, hey, these are the people coming. When I'm out in the woods, we're just a bunch of Joes in the woods. It's confidential. This is in no way to trip somebody up and with that, it'd probably be a good time to talk about, we got a trip coming up in
we do
same area, but we may be going different directions.
So there's some different, and we'll talk about this in a future video, but we're going to also incorporate basically command level backpacking trips, because there are still stressors there. There's still things that we remember from working the road. If you've climbed to, like, say, your chief, deputy chief, or whatever, or battalion commander, whatever the case may be. Let's say you're not out there, going into houses, going into fires, whatever the case is. There are still stressors, and a lot of that comes out when one of your guys or gals get hurt. So we'll be opening up some commander only sessions, and to kind of ease any possible tension. The trip we have coming up actually next weekend, it just so happened, and this is circumstance, that one of our applicants that's coming out with us works for the same agency as one of the commanders that's going. So to protect both parties and make sure there's no conflict of interest, we're basically just going to run the route in two different ways. That way, someone feels comfortable. I know I wouldn't want to open up if my boss is sitting right next to me. So
absolutely,
we understand that, but we don't want to turn anyone away because everyone's got their own issue, their own struggle, or whatever the case may be. So I think that's a good way to go about it. Now, there are instances where you might be comfortable with someone who's of different rank within your same organization. If that's the case, cool. We can all go together. You can request that. But if you're apprehensive at all, we can tailor anything to you. Because
we will tailor it to you.
Yeah, it comes down to helping you. So
and for people that may say be in a command staff, whereas me, I'm I guess the first rank you become when you start this line of work and have been there for a long time. And I wouldn't expect somebody in a leadership position. I'm not going to have any context with maybe struggles you face, but he may. But then there's people that may have done, the, say, police officer, firefighter that have done the job in the trenches and decide to do their career that way, that I'm going to be able to identify with, because that's the career path I've taken. So we have enough set up with guys that are very, very senior executive command staff to as guys that are just, I like to joke that they're knuckle draggers like me.
Which he's not.
But the bottom line is this: we are here to help the bottom line is as many people as we possibly can. Selfishly, I got to be honest, it has helped me significantly. But because you guys have allowed me to find my sense of purpose again. But the goal is just, again, we're just trying to help as many guys or ladies or whoever it is as we possibly can in the time that we have. So listen, if everybody would just ask 2 buddies to go, it's Instagram, right?
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
Go to the Instagram,
whatever social media
ask
you're
somebody to, what do they, follow it, subscribe it?
Yeah.
Both.
Both.
That thing, because that's going to help us. Man, it would really be a huge help. And for the guys that have been donating, thank you so much. We actually are ahead of our timeline of getting our first trip out because of your donations.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Sincerely.
That's
thank
a
you.
huge burden off of our shoulders to try to get this going and get more people out and get them the help that they need and deserve. So.
Oh yeah, and share this, whatever that is, all over the place so we can help get the name out there to try to help more people. So.
Cool. Thanks.
All right.